Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Arabian Travel Market Aviation Sessions for 2017. This is the first of three today. I'm John Strickland of JLS Consulting. I'm delighted to be here in Dubai again to chair these sessions. There will be a chance for questions later on in the session this morning. And I'm delighted that we have, I think, a first for Arabian travel market. We have a CEO here from an airline that is going through significant changes, and indeed the country of origin of this airline is going through massive changes as well, and I think they've never been on the stage here at ATM. So without taking any more time, please give a warm welcome to the Chief Executive of Saudi Arabian Airlines, Jaan Albrecht. Jaan, welcome to ATM.
Thank you, John. Good morning.
Now, you're not a newcomer to the industry, are you? I think I was reading your bio. These days, as I get older, you're one of the few people who's got more time in the industry than me. Is it about 40 years?
Yeah, it's
But you 40. Look younger. You're younger than I do, so you've obviously done better. But you started in Mexico with Mexicana and actually as a pilot, and then went on to a number of other key positions. Do you want to give us a quick sketch of that for the audience?
Yeah. Thank you, John. Yes, well, I had to say 43 years in the industry.
43.
I was born in Mexico, started in Mexico as a pilot, Mexican Airlines. Went quickly into management positions, was VP of Flight Operations, VP Commercial, VP Cargo. I was then sent to Peru for the turnaround and the privatization of Aero Peru, which was part of the group at that time. And then in 2001, I moved to Germany to lead the Star Alliance. Star Alliance, Alliance, with Lufthansa United as founding members. I led that for 11 years, grew from 9 to 27 carriers during my time. And then Lufthansa asked me to assist them in the turnaround of Austrian Airlines once they had bought 100% of Austrian Airlines, which I did for 4 years. Fortunately, with the team, we were successful in a very, very tough turnaround exercise, but we managed to do that. Today, Austrian is a thriving company, which is good to watch from a distance. From there, I was sent to Turkey, to Antalya, to do a turnaround for Sun Express, the leisure carrier co-owned joint venture between Turkish Airlines and Lufthansa, which I did for a year and a half. And here we are, moving east, further east, and here we are in Jeddah now, supporting the transformation of Saudi Airlines.
Okay. And also, as you said, you were a pilot early in your career. It's relatively rare to see pilots make the transition into airline management. And without wishing to be rude in any way, I think you have many airline pilots who think they can run an airline, but maybe better to stay in the left-hand seat and captain a flight. So you and I think Willie Walsh, and I think it was Alan Bethune in the past who ran Continental, you've made it. You've got across the line, but I think it probably gives you an extra benefit in understanding the operational side of the business. So,
yeah, I guess it does. No, I spent 20 years as a pilot, but getting more and more into management functions. I think it's an advantage as a pilot because you see everything which has happened in the company. Does not mean that a good pilot is a good manager. These are totally different skills. But yes, today in the position where I am and leading a turnaround of a company and the examples I had in the past, it is a big asset to know what's happening. I mean, pilots now are a group in itself. They make many important decisions every minute, every second. So in understanding the way the pilots work, in understanding how the operation goes, understanding not only how to fill an aircraft, but how to run an efficient, a safe operation, I guess is an asset. Yeah? When you are able to make decisions from a management point of view, it's certainly an asset to know what are the priorities. And for me, as I've said in each of my management positions, top priority is safety. Yeah? So we do not compromise on that. So yes, it's an asset.
Well, I don't know if you heard the same quotation that I heard. I think it was Robert Milton, who was at the time CEO of Air Canada, and he said that pilots say that being a pilot is years and years of boredom punctuated by minutes of sheer terror, but being an airline CEO is minutes of boredom punctuated by years of terror. So maybe you've experienced both sides of the tracks. But moving on to the core topic, the airline which you're now CEO of, SAUDIA. It's an airline with a long heritage, founded in 1945. So when you were approached about the airline, what were your impressions of it? What did you feel about the airline's position in the marketplace as you explored the opportunity?
So as a foreigner, certainly a person that has no experience in this Middle East area, what we read from the outside world in Mexico and Europe is all about the thriving Gulf carriers. So the image I had of Saudia is basically goes back to the glory days of this company. I mean, Saudia, the second eldest company in the Mid East, the glory days of this company were really the ones that picked my attention already many years ago. But then Saudia went kind of silent, went through a transformation, went through the progress. And when I was approached on Saudia, I basically didn't need to think twice about this challenge. So I had interviews and I understood that Saudia is playing and will play an important part of the transformation that the country is going through. The Vision 2030, as explained by the Deputy Crown Prince. And then if you look at the role that they expect from Saudia, and the role that the airline can play to implement this vision is a fascinating exercise, is a fascinating challenge, which I was immediately ready to take up.
Well, as you said, the country is going through this big change, and this was something that really inspired me to invite yourself to come along today, because I don't know a lot about Vision 2030, but essentially people from outside of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia would probably see it as largely an oil economy. But if I'm not mistaken, the idea is to very much diversify the economy and really change its sources of revenue, increasing tourism and so on. And obviously the airline is part of that. Do you want to tell us a little bit more flavour on that, if you can?
Yeah. So it's very interesting, and for me, after 3 months, it has been really a very steep, quick learning curve. And Saudi Arabia is a different country. This is not the United Arab Emirates. This is not Qatar. This is a country with 30+ million people, proud Saudis, with a lot of background, with a long history. It's a different country with a huge domestic market, which you don't see in this other part of the world of our neighbors. And it also happens to be the country of the two holy mosques, which is a clear advantage, a clear asset. So it's a totally different traffic. If you speak about tourism, this is not the typical tourist that you see here in Dubai or in Qatar or in Abu Dhabi, but this is a different kind of tourism. It's a religious traffic. So the future and the transformation that the country is going through is to really bank on the assets that this country has, which again are totally different to what we have read, to what we have seen in this other part of the world. And it is a matter of taking advantage of these holy sites, taking advantage of the cultural heritage, taking advantage of what the country has to offer. Yes, of course, there are oil revenues. The country has been banking on the revenues from oil, but no secret, at the oil price where it is today, the country is looking for alternative sources of revenue, and this is part of the vision. So the vision 2030 really 2030 banks on the population, on the society. They say a vibrant society, and you can start to feel this, particularly in Jeddah, in Riyadh. It is all about the economy, a thriving economy, and it's about a very ambitious nation. And if you bring these things together, and if you get the key companies, the strategic companies, to support the implementation of the vision, I think it's something worthwhile exploring, which certainly from our small point of view and my small point of vieh from leading Saudi Airlines, it's something worthwhile, and we are full steam to support the implementation of this.
And it's quite a young population as well, isn't it? A large number of young people. I mean, they are very tech savvy with mobile phones and using websites and apps and so on.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a young population, very young. You see this in the street, you see this in the company every day. It is one of the countries that has the highest mobile penetration worldwide. The use of mobile phones is one of the leading countries worldwide. So these are all opportunities. Yes. If we speak about digitalization, if we speak about future trends, if we speak about booking behavior, booking from the travelers, particularly with this huge domestic population, this is a great opportunity for Saudi.
And there's a lot of airports, perhaps surprisingly to people who don't know the country. I mean, I worked for an airline myself in the 1980s, British Caledonian, and we flew to Dhahran, Jeddah and Riyadh, but that's only the surface, if you like. How many more airports are there that are regularly used for air travel?
The country has amazing 27 airports. Most of them are international airports.
Right.
Saudia flies to 25 out of these 27. Our main base is Jeddah. We have a second hub in Riyadh. We have an important presence in Dammam as well. So in Medina, of course, because of the religious traffic. And again, these are huge opportunities if we get it right. So the investment that the government is putting into the airport infrastructure is quite impressive. If you see the new terminal in many of these airports, in Medina, I was a week ago in Tabuk, new Terminal 5 in Riyadh, and now this unique opportunity and the one-time chance we have in Jeddah with the opening of the new terminal. That will be a game changer for the country, will be a game changer for the city, for Jeddah, and certainly a game changer for SAUDIA as the home carrier, as the main operator in this hub. So we are preparing for that to make use, to be consistent, run in parallel on the huge investment on the infrastructure at the airports, and be consistent with the huge investment in the airline on the expansion of our fleet.
I want to come back in a moment on that issue about the new airport and the hubs, but just one other aspect of the domestic market. Is it fair to say that until recently, Saudi more or less had it to itself, and then in the last year or so we've seen some opening up? Last year, almost sitting in the same seat as you're sitting now, I had Paul Byrne, the CEO of FlyNAS. So he was talking about FlyNAS operating as a low-cost carrier, not only of the domestic market, but substantially. Is that liberalisation going to continue so that Saudi doesn't have it all to itself? Is that going to provoke you in terms of the spur of competition more?
Yeah, good question, John. And you are exactly mentioning what is happening in the country as part of this transformation. So if you go back 5, 7, 8 years, it was SAUDIA. Yes. We had a monopoly market. We were the operator in this huge domestic market with ample opportunities because of the investment on the airports on one side, because of the huge extension of the country, because of a weak infrastructure on the ground. So the airlines and the air communication is an essential part of communicating the country. But now the game has changed. So we have FlyNAS, we have the new low-cost carriers, we have Nesma, we have Saudi Gulf. Saudia in itself will be starting a low-cost operation, Flyer deal. So you see that the scene has changed dramatically. And this is a game changer for Saudia, being a legacy operator, being a sole domestic operator in a certain monopoly market with certain fare caps. The name of the game is a different one.
Yeah, because that was something I remember talking to Paul about. And I think he felt it was maybe a double-edged sword, that there are caps on the domestic fares. Sometimes it can be, I think are they fairly high or fairly low? I can't remember what it is.
Very high.
Fairly high.
So very low caps.
And I think sometimes that could work positively and other times it could be frustrating. But is that likely to continue, or do you think we might see completely liberalised pricing come in?
Yeah, so also interesting because Saudia, as a monopoly operator many years ago, was always complaining about the fare caps. So if you have a monopoly market, you would like to drive the fares upward. Yeah. But rightly so, the government imposed these fare caps. Right. So that was a long frustration, a long theme that was being raised at every meeting. But today, John, the fare caps have been released, but this is not relevant anymore. Because now it's not about higher fares. Now, because of the competition on the domestic market, it's about who offers the best price. Right. So today, fare caps, whenever anybody in the company approaches me about fare caps, I just smile because I said, no, there is no single market, no single destination where we would want to have higher fares. It's all about competition. It's the open market. It's part of this transformation that the country is going through, and certainly that Saudi as an airline is going through. To change your thinking from a protected, from a legacy market into an open market with a lot of serious competition that we are taking very seriously. Yes. And again, the name of the game on the fares is to lower the fares and to be as attractive, as efficient as possible to get the attention of the passengers.
And that change in the marketplace, customers are seeing it and taking advantage of it, but I guess would that have been part of the thinking to bring you into the airline as an outsider who has worked in some very competitive markets in the world? Is it part of your brief to bring in that thinking and also educate people in the company that they have to change in their outlook? Things have moved on.
Yes, John, I do not pretend, nor was I hired to tell the Saudia employees what to do. I was hired to support in this transformation. A lot has been done in the last 2 years under the leadership of our Director General. A lot has been achieved, but there is ample room for further improvement, for further modernization. So yes, they decided, I am the first foreign CEO of this company, they decided to get support, to get perhaps the outside-in view in order to be able to drive with this international experience that I'm lucky to bring on board, to work together with the team force, to work together with our specialists, and to getting some new ideas, some new approaches, some new thoughts, some new developments, which is Saudia as an airline basically also because of this relatively protected market in the past, has perhaps missed an opportunity here or there. Yeah? But again, it's not a matter of lecturing people what to do. No. It's a matter of coming up to build a team, to continue banking on the team, expanding the team, getting here and there some outside expertise in those areas where we believe now that we can do better, that we can benefit. And certainly one area is this formation of the integration of a low-cost carrier, no? Which is a trend that you are seeing in every part of the world. Just look at this population, 30 plus million passengers. I mean, when I was CEO of Austrian Airlines with a population of 8 million, what a difference, to be here in a young market, a thriving market, an ambitious market with 30 plus million passengers that are hungry to travel, that want to travel with the religious traffic. I mean, this is a fascinating environment, really, with lots of opportunities.
I know you've only been there, 3 or 4 months, but are you finding enthusiasm amongst your new team for these changes? Are they feeling energized at what's happening?
Yes and no. To be very frank, yes, I find opportunities. I find a workforce that wants change. I've been meeting with staff. I've had several town hall meetings. I've been trying to get very close to them, to learn from staff, to understand their needs, to understand their frustrations. And what I hear, I would say 99% from staff is they want change.
Right.
This is not necessarily what I see in some areas of the company, some other areas, but this is also not something to criticize. It has been part of the legacy of the company. It is part of a company that has a certain root, a deeply rooted company with a long tradition. And yes, this is a change we need to do. So, but the good news is that staff are willing to change, and I can see this, I can feel this. Every day that I talk, particularly to the file and rank, they want to see this. Right. They want to go back to the glory days of SAUDIA.
And you mentioned the new low-cost airline, which I think had already been announced when I was here at the ATM last year. And I believe your Director General has said in the last few days it will actually launch activities in the autumn of this year, about September. It's going to be part of to be clear for the audience, it's going to be part of a Saudi Arabian group, but SAUDIA and FlyIdeal will operate as separate entities. So does that mean there will be a separate CEO and management team running that airline?
That's right. So I would not like to disclose too much information about FlyIdeal. They will hold their own press conference when they are ready. The only thing we have disclosed is, yes, SAUDIA, FlyIdeal is 100% part of the SAUDIA group. It will be the low-cost operation of SAUDIA, as you see in many parts of the world. So nothing different to that. To try to participate and gain market share from a thriving market. It will be kept at arm's length, and they will start operations, launch operations someday in the second part of this year. So they have been preparing for that, and an announcement will be made soon, and it is up to them to inform about the schedule, about the network, about the aircraft they will operate. But yes, it's an integral part of SAUDIA Group.
And I guess to have a separate management team is important, because certainly what I've seen in Europe, and I worked for a low-cost airline that KLM ran in the UK, and there's a risk that the parent company can suffocate its own child if it gets too close. So giving some space and freedom can be a beneficial thing. You need a different mentality or a different approach sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. If you see the success low-cost carriers and the failure or the semi-failures of the low-cost carriers, I think it's a key element. That as far as you can keep them, the management, the decisions. I mean, this is not only for a legacy carrier manager to get rid of the tie and think low cost. It's a totally different story. It's a different business model. And what they have done in FlyIdeal, from what I can observe, is exactly that. To get management team that is experienced, that comes from this part of the world, even from other industries, and that's, in my opinion, the very right approach.
Absolutely. One last thing in the domestic context. I mean, I've heard other airlines in the past saying, SAUDIA gets favourable treatment in terms of fuel prices. Is that true? Is it still the case? And if it is, might that change as well?
So certainly it's not true as we speak. Since I joined the company, we are enjoying or not enjoying.
Everybody's enjoying low fuel prices currently.
So today we're enjoying fuel price, which as a matter of fact for the country and for SAUDIA is like a double-sided sword.
Double-edged sword, really.
Yeah, because of course we are not hedged as we speak. We're thinking about it, but we are enjoying low fuel prices, which is good. On the other side, the country is still dependent on the oil revenues. It's not good. So for us, nothing different to what's happening in the Gulf area for the airlines. But as we speak, we are as competitive. We need to be as competitive, and are enjoying fuel prices in the market as any other carrier.
And turning, you already touched on the international side of a business, which is significant. You operate a hub system through Jeddah and Riyadh, a twin hub system, is that correct?
Yes, so the big opportunity, as I said a while ago, this is a one-time opportunity for Saudia, will be the opening of the new terminal. Hopefully, we believe sometime next year.
In Jeddah?
In Jeddah, yeah. So today, the infrastructure in Jeddah does not really allow a good connectivity
some congestion
product.
and bottlenecks.
It's a small terminal. We don't have any contact gate. The whole operation is based on apron, on remote gates, on busing, which of course, by definition, is not really an environment to generate connectivity. But I would also not like to overplay the sixth freedom opportunity. So what Emirates have done here, what Qatar is building, what Etihad have done in Abu Dhabi, it's not the same business model of what we pursue in Saudi. Again, the big difference is that we have a huge domestic
population.
market.
I mean, that again is shocking because in terms of people from outside the region, if they study aviation, they see, people talk about the big three, with small local populations, but massive volumes of traffic. But you're quite the opposite. It's massive population.
Yeah, and something which everybody knows, but something which has not really been exploited, is this huge and unique positioning of Saudi. I mean, we are the country with the two holy mosques. And the religious traffic, so the labor traffic, the religious traffic, this has nothing to do with sixth freedom.
Yes.
This is all third and fourth freedom traffic, where we are playing a role, we have a market share, but I believe we don't have a fair market share. So our main focus will be on the religious traffic, will be on getting a good product, the best product, for people to perform Umrah for this multi-million, 100 million, billion Muslim traffic all over the world, to allow them to be their prime carrier, to bring them to the holy sites and to offer them from A to Z, from beginning to the end, a good product. And that, again, has nothing to do with sixth freedom. Yes, there is an opportunity with a new terminal to also go take a little bit of the market share in the catchment area, which first instance is about 2 hours flight from Jeddah, which is in first instance the domestic market, but then also the East African market. This is the catchment area we would like to connect via the new hub in Jeddah. And yes, Riyadh is important. It's a double hub. The distance between Jeddah and Riyadh is far enough to build a second hub structure. This is where the government is located. There is a lot of government traffic, which of course we want to capture on the third, fourth freedom basis. So our strategy going forward will be, number one, build Jeddah, make use of the infrastructure, and yes, have an important secondary hub in Riyadh. And
in Jeddah, is it physically a completely new airport, or same runways, but as you said, new terminal?
Yeah, so today the airport is slot constrained, but this is because of the terminal. We have a very limited terminal capacity. So if you look at the footprint of the airport, it's the same. We have 3 runways,
which so is plenty of runway,
which is great.
Yes.
That will allow us ample expansion opportunity, but the bottleneck today is a terminal.
Okay.
With this new terminal, 40-something contact gates, it's a huge environment. If you look at this from the outside, it's really an impressive building. So it is a new terminal in an existing airport with the existing footprint on the runways.
And as you said, religious traffic is something in its volume, but it is unique to the Saudi Arabian market with religious, the holy sites, particularly Mecca. That causes volume peaks. I remember when I worked for this airline, British Caledonia, we'd get the British travellers going to do Hajj, and every flight to Jeddah would be full. And I remember then, and I was young and youthful into the industry, and I was learning about this, there was a special terminal in Jeddah, only used for the Hajj. Is that still the case, or will that change as your new larger terminal opens?
Yeah, no, that's amazing. As a foreigner and just looking at the way this Hajj business works, it's fascinating, really. Yes, there is a dedicated Hajj terminal. Hajj goes for 70 days. This year it will be in starting end of July until the beginning of September. So this is a huge opportunity where we basically duplicate our seats in order to get access to this Hajj traffic. But what is a misconception is that this is not about 70-day Hajj business only.
No.
This is where you have it concentrated. But the government is aiming at increasing the number of visas. This year or last year, we had the government issued 8 million visas. They want to duplicate this by 15 million visas by 2020 and up to 30 million visas by 2030. So this is a huge growth opportunity for us, but not only for the Hush business, but for the so-called Umbra business. And the Umbra business is a business which goes 9 months.
Yes.
And so this is something which is underestimated. And more if the government is issuing more visas, if they want to increase the number of visitors, if they want to improve the infrastructure on that, this is a huge opportunity for Saudi. Again, nothing to do with sixth freedom. This is a natural traffic. The country is blessed, and that we have this huge religious traffic. And again, this is a huge opportunity.
You said that you double your capacity when Hajj is on. I can't believe that's because you have aircraft sitting around most of the year just to use them. Do you lease aircraft in at that time?
Yes, for that period we lease aircraft in, basically high density aircraft, to be able to capture as much traffic as possible. This is the time of the year where our flight crews are fully engaged, where the productivity really goes up through the roof, where every aircraft is being prepared in the maintenance cycles now to be ready for the Hajj season. So we try to do this with our own capacity, which is not enough, and then we deploy capacity from our prime operators. And these are also relationships which have been going on for 15, for 20 years. So it's not something that we look for opportunities here and there, but it's also an established business, established good partnerships with our ACME providers. And this is good for the country, good for us.
It's a well tried and tested routine. It's demanding, but you know how to do it.
Absolutely.
Now, you just met before we came in our other speaker today, the CEO of Malaysian Airlines, who's going to be talking this afternoon. And one of the questions they've got on the list for him, Malaysian's got 6 A380s that they're planning to use only for Hajj business because of the large movements from Malaysia. What do you think of that idea? Would you see that as competition, or do you think that's something just unique to another market? Is it an innovative approach, do you think?
Well, it makes sense now. If you have a 380, with I don't know how many seats they will put into the aircraft.
700, I think.
700, yes. This is actually what the aircraft was designed for.
That's right.
Of course, everybody could fill 700 seats during the Hajj season, but again, this is 70 days. So there must be, which I don't know, there must be a good business for the aircraft during the other 9 months of the year.
Absolutely.
But yes, there's certainly a strategy to serve this market.
And just touching briefly on Dubai, because we're sitting here in Dubai at the Arabian travel market, how does Dubai fit into your network? Because you offer, I think, pretty high frequency and high capacity flights. I know when I've passed through Dubai airport on a number of occasions, I've seen several SAUDIA aircraft here at the same time, and they are wide-bodied aircraft.
Yeah, we have 87, I think, weekly frequencies. We fly from Dubai, we fly to Jeddah, to Riyadh, to Dammam, to Medina. So yes, it's an important station for us. We have wide-body aircraft. It's an important market, and we will continue looking for opportunities, absolutely. Okay.
And in terms of fulfilling what you do, I always enjoy, and I'm hoping you're going to also enjoy it as an ex-pilot, to talk about fleet and aircraft. It's always a favourite thing, the boys' toys, the planes. But you have a substantial fleet. 129 aircraft, I believe, currently, and we aim to build that to 200. You've got state-of-the-art aircraft. Tell us about that, almost type by type, because the first thing I noticed, you have the Airbus A330 regional, and I think you're the only airline in the world who uses the A330 regional. Why do you have that? What is its role?
Yeah. So it's one of these funny operations now with a wide-body aircraft for the rather regional network for shorter routes. In our case, it works very well. This is, again, because of the catchment area, because of the huge domestic area of the volume. You can do this either with frequencies, with a narrow-body aircraft, which we did, which we continue doing, particularly to the thin routes on the domestic. But then this is not enough, particularly Jeddah being constrained, now slot constrained. So the decision to go for the 330 regional was a very good one. So we're saving costs now. The engines are derated. The aircraft weight is lower, so that helps us on the airport charges, the overflight charges. They are high density, but with an excellent business class, so state-of-the-art aircraft, it's serving a very good purpose. And yes, if you speak about the fleet, we will go eventually. The plan is to go up to 200 aircraft by the year 2020. But the 30 aircraft we received last year and the 30 we are receiving this year, they are mainly for replacements. We will have one of the youngest fleets worldwide, 3.7 years by the end of this year, which is a dream, really coming from other companies.
I was going to say, forgive your European heritage, some of the 747s and so on that are flying around there, but are quite a bit older than that.
Right. So average fleet age below 4 years at the end of this year. I mean, it's really a dream. State-of-the-art aircraft, 787, 900, 777, 300s. We are doing non-stop flight from Jeddah to Los Angeles, up to 16 hours flight time. With a nice product, the investment in the fleet, investment in the onboard service, investment in the overall experience for the customers has been one and will continue being one of the priorities for the company for the next years.
And again, on those types, I mean, the 777, in many ways, you could say it was due to Emirates who really pushed Boeing on the extended range version of 300, and it's now become really the workhorse. Is that one of the aircraft you're using on these ultra-long range flights, and also the 787-9?
Yeah, great aircraft. Absolutely great aircraft, very reliable. 787, we have 7 aircraft. Last week we received our 7th aircraft, so it is a great product. Great product, very efficient, fuel efficient, new technologies. Our crews love it, the passengers love it. So yes, that's a way to go. And the
787-9 operating reliably for you, because amazingly, I think we're 3 or 4 years on now since the 787 first went into service, but it had a very challenging introduction. Are you at the point now that, especially as a pilot, you understand these things better than me? Is it now at a level of maturity that it's settled and the aircraft flies pretty well reliably the moment you bring it over from Seattle?
Yeah, so we were not a launch customer, I say fortunately, particularly with this aircraft, like with any aircraft. We are enjoying now already the first years of experience from the other airlines that introduced it. Yes, we had some issues as well. It's a new aircraft, maintenance, even though they prepared for pilots. It's a new aircraft, a new environment. But today I can say it's a stable, it's a reliable aircraft. We are very happy with the operation of it.
Okay. And what about other airlines? Competition, we talked about how competition is really flourishing and developing as a conscious decision as part of Vision 2030 in the domestic market. But what about other carriers coming into your region and trying to maybe take a piece of your lunch? The other Gulf carriers, Turkish Airlines, although perhaps they have a lot of their own challenges currently, and indeed airlines from other parts of the world, maybe long haul, low cost. Are you seeing all of these types of sources of competition?
Yeah, not the long haul, low cost so far.
That's not into.
I mean, in a sense, during the Hajj season, yes, you see a lot of long haul, low cost, because the yields are rather low on the Hajj season and on the Umrah traffic. But we take competition very seriously. If you look at the airport in Riyadh, in Jeddah, I mean, you see any operator in the area. The Turkish Airlines, you mentioned them, Egypt Air, Emirates, Qatar, not only in Jeddah and Riyadh, but also in the domestic airports. So there are lots of opportunities. It's one of the biggest challenges, I would say, for SAUDIA to continue with our transformation, to continue preparing from the mentality of our staff, from the sophistication of the operation, from the reliability, from the IT environment, to be prepared to cope with competition. So it's not a specific competitor. On the domestic, yes, these are the newcomers. Now these are the low-cost carriers. Internationally, it's nothing really new to the company, but it's something which we take very seriously. And that I am convinced, and the areas of opportunity I've identified so far after my short 3 months is that we will be able to grab additional market share, to get to our fair market share, particularly on the labor traffic, on the religious traffic, and to get back some of the sixth freedom. And that will come as a result of an efficient operation, continue investing in customer service, continue investing in our biggest asset, our staff, to make them aware now that the name of the game has changed.
It's competition. I mean, I don't know what the regulatory regime is in terms of traffic rights internationally. I mean, you explained to us how it's opening up domestically, but we know about liberal air service agreements with particularly, say, UAE and Qatar of other parts of the world. Is that something that Saudi Arabia will look to participate in more itself than it has done in the past?
Of course, that will be a policy, philosophy that will be decided by the authorities.
By the government.
For us, we are open for competition. We need to be better prepared for competition. If you ask me personally, the best environment for Saudi would be to give us some time to continue on the transformation. As I said a while ago, we have achieved a lot, but there is a lot more to be achieved. And for that, we need a little time. So open skies, I come from an environment in Mexico where we had a hugely protected environment, small Mexican carriers. This goes back 20 years, but nevertheless a protected environment with very restrictive bilaterals. But we small Mexican carriers were fighting the big Uniteds, Americans, Deltas, you name them. And if it had not been for protection at that time, the Mexican carriers would have been wiped away. So I see a similar environment here, that if you see this massive expansion, the massive investment that has been done in our neighbors, we need time to get to the same level to be able to compete. And we are preparing the company for that. So basically what I'm saying is, yes, competition, absolutely, but we need a little time to continue transforming the company.
Go on a sort of a progressive fitness improvement time. And in terms of performance of the company, I know you don't disclose publicly financial results, but I think I read you have a new mission statement about the company's future, and it talks about profitability. So, and you come from that free market world where that had to be your focus. With that in mind, is it also part of it, maybe the Vision 2030 that SAUDIA may be at some point privatized or have at least some private investment in the future, do you think?
I mean, I certainly will not be able to answer this more as a foreigner and after 3 months, but what I can say is that one of the reasons I was brought in is to look for gaining efficiency, to making the company more profitable, basically, to make the company able to survive and to live and to expand and to invest as a result of your own resources. So yes, we have ownership, government ownership. Yes, this company has a long tradition, but the name of the game will be different. So if eventually, and this is again not my topic to discuss or to have a comment on, but eventually privatization or going public is part of the government strategy, the company needs to be fit for that. And this is where we're focused on today, to make the company fit for whatever the government decides in future. And what I have seen so far is that the aviation, SAUDIA particularly, we carry the name of the country. This is a big asset for the company. The government has high hopes and is putting a lot of pressure on us that we improve the performance, we improve the on-time performance or reliability of the company, which we are doing great already. But of course, there has to be pressure in order to prepare the company for whatever decision that will be made in the future.
Now, in terms of moving forward partnerships, SAUDIA is a member of SkyTeam. It's interesting, in this part of the world we have Etihad, who is not in an alliance directly. They talk about an equity alliance, Emirates, that has ploughed its own furrow, and Qatar, which is in a combination of investment and is in one world. A lot of those CEOs talk about their views on alliances. Maybe their time is, or their best days are over, or at least they will evolve. What is your feeling? Because well, two questions. One, what is your feeling about that? And the other, how do you see SkyTeam? Because you led Star.
So I guess my answer might be a little biased, because having been CEO of the Star Alliance for 11 years and having lived the growth years of the alliance, as I said a while ago, we grew from 9 to 27 carriers in that alliance. So the alliance is, what I always say, it's like a fitness club. If as a person, if you want to become fitter, you can enroll in a fitness club, you pay your entry fee, you pay your monthly, your annual fee, but to become fitter, you have to go to the club. It has to hurt a little bit, you have to sweat, you have to go on the treadmill, you have to lift weights. And this is a big opportunity for SAUDIA. So are the alliances over? No, they have reached maturity. Could I imagine SAUDIA not benefiting from the worldwide, the global exposure of our logo on more than 1,000 airports, more than, 120 countries? Could I imagine SAUDIA not benefiting from that? No. Could I imagine any airline not benefiting from this global exposure, from the loyalty of their members, from enjoying a virtual network? No. The answer for SAUDIA is to become a more active player in this fitness club. So in the fitness club, you see many machines, you see many ways of getting fitter. Today, I have the feeling that SAUDIA can benefit from more of these machines. We want, and certainly under my leadership, we will become more active in SkyTeam. It's a great alliance. If you look at the partners, we have 9 co-chairs today with our SkyTeam members, but there is an ample room of becoming more active, of benefiting more from this alliance. And again, having led an alliance for 11 years, I'm 100% convinced that this is a way forward. Alliances are part of the game. Alliance membership was a good decision for Saudia, and it will be even a better decision for Saudia going forward. So we will be an active member of that.
And you touched also in terms of, in this context of competition, about the product. And again, having been at the ATM in recent years and looked at the SAUDIA exhibition here, it seems to me you're focusing more on the product side. The Gulf carriers, the big three, again, if you like, are known for the high quality of their offer. It looks like you're moving in that direction yourself, particularly if we look outside of in the long-haul market where you can indeed offer a product given flight duration and aircraft type.
Yes, John, this is to my surprise and my satisfaction really when I joined the company. I witnessed the investment, I witnessed the importance, the priority that DG has put on the product, that the company is putting a product. So if you see the investment on the first class lounges that we have on the, if you experience the Al Fursan lounges in our main hubs, what we are building in Jeddah Airport, I mean, it's state of the art. The suite that we have on the 777-300s on the long-haul flights to the United States, to Asia, I mean, this is really state of the art. But not only focusing on the top product, if you look also at our catering products, at the in-flight entertainment system we have on the new aircraft for our guest class, for the economy class, I mean, this is state of the art. It's really great. We are part of the Saudia group where we have 11 companies. One of them, we have a catering unit, we have the maintenance, a cargo unit, we have the Royal Flight, etc., training academy. And the integral part of this is a partnership that we did with a catering partner. And they have built state-of-the-art kitchens in most of the airports throughout the kingdom. And this is really showing now on the onboard product. So yes, absolutely big focus on that. The training academy for our flight attendants, for our pilots, the King Sultan Training Academy in Jeddah. If you visit it, I mean, I was really surprised, really surprised, amazed of the investment that has been done and on the importance and the priority that we're putting on customer service.
Well, you mentioned about the economy cabin. I mean, do you think we're getting maybe to a position of polarization if we think here in the Gulf there's a focus on still good quality service in economy, while in Europe now some of the traditional airlines are saying, well, we've got competition for long haul low cost, we might have to do the same in our own long haul economy. You'll get a seat, maybe a very competitive price, but not more. You'll have to pay for a meal and pay for in-flight entertainment to bring your own. Do you think that is the way things are going to diverge between the Gulf and, say, Europe?
Yes, John, this is a trend now. I mean, I remember many years ago in America saying low-cost carriers will not happen in the rest of Latin America or will certainly not be a part in Europe or in Asia. And today the name of the game is totally different one. So ancillary services, yes. If you see what's happening in other parts of the world, not only the low-cost carriers, but the way the Lufthansa, the British Airways, the US carriers have gone, this is a trend. We will not be able to stop it. We are watching it very closely. Ancillary revenues has become an important project in the company. We started with this about 2 years ago, and it's one of the priorities to continue looking for ancillary services. So are we yet there where the Europeans or where the Americans are? Probably not. But will it come to this part of the world? Yes, and I can assure you that if we in Saudi identify an opportunity to be the leading carrier in this part of the world, we will play this. We will go into this risk if you so want, but we will take this opportunity.
And do you think long-haul low cost will grow as much as you've seen short-haul low cost grow? Because like you, I mean, I ended up working for a low-cost airline, and I always feel I should have a T-shirt saying "Born Again Low-Cost Airline Man" because it changed my own mind. I didn't think it would work like you. But I personally still have some skepticism, not that it will work, but it will work as widely as short haul because there are many challenges. I mean, even FlyNAS, I think in its earlier life, did try kind of long haul low cost. It was doing flights to, I think, Manchester and a couple of other long haul cities, but primarily based on religious traffic, and then they abandoned that. What's your own feeling?
Yeah, I mean, long haul low cost. I remember 3, 4, 5 years ago, everybody was absolutely against it. They were criticizing, they said those carriers that are exploring this market, they will fail. And look, some years later, yes, there have been some failures, but there have been some successes. My previous employer, we started operating the low-cost, long-haul operation for our owner.
Yeah, you must have been very involved.
And very successfully.
That's right.
So if you have the right business case, if you have the right market, if the passenger is right, if the customers want it, if you have the right cost structure, if you have the right equipment, environment, if you have the right product, why not? So I experienced this, again with my previous employer, and it was a big success. So yes, we have to watch the market very carefully. I would not say no. I would say perhaps these days it's not one of the priorities for this part of the world, but certainly it will be. And again, the example I mentioned a while ago, the Umbra and the Hush traffic, that is already long haul, low cost. So nothing new in the sense of the cost structure, nothing new in the business model, how to be able to compete with it. So we are already playing part of it. But will it expand to other areas of the world? Will it expand to other catchment areas for us? I'm sure it will come.
Well, I mean, I guess coming back to your market, as you said, the density of a population is already a big tick in the box for long haul, low cost, because I think in some markets, the market's not big enough. They're fine in whatever peak season exists, but unless they are fed from many other points in the quiet season, they're not going to work. But you've got this big population with a willingness to travel. So who knows? I know Flyer Deal is not yet taken to the air, but I'm sure you'll be looking within the SAUDIA group at that kind of thing for the future. Just as we round up, and I will come to the audience if anybody would like to ask a question to you in a minute, but we do face a lot of global challenges in the industry. I mean, it's perhaps an industry that always has done, but what is your assessment of the year so far? In your experience, is this more challenging than you think we've seen before?
Well, for worldwide, yes.
Well, we have Brexit or new governments in the USA, security challenges, fuel prices up and down, who knows what.
Yeah, I mean, of course, now everybody is having a look, not only innovation, and particularly we innovation, because we are global. A global business, we have to watch very carefully all these geopolitical developments, what is happening in this part of the world. But again, a company that flies to 43 destinations, we operate in 4 continents, you have to be very watchful of what's happening in each of these countries. I mean, we fly 3 destinations in the United States, a destination in Canada, so anything that happens in the US is important to us. It might not be as relevant or as high on the priority as for other operators, but it is certainly an area that we need to watch very carefully. Yes, we fly to London, we fly to Europe, to Asia, so absolutely. I mean, you cannot be capsule into your own area of operation. But the company has shown, and I think the industry has shown, that the quicker you adapt to this, the quicker you identify the trends, the quicker you're able to be creative, to offer the right product, the more successful you will be. And I have no doubt that with the experience of this company, I mean, this is a proud company with 72 years experience, which has at glory days. I have no doubt that we will be able to get back to these glory days, and that the company is well prepared to play part of this role. So yes, labor issue you mentioned, labor environment in Saudi Arabia is different to what I had in Mexico, what I had in Austria, what I had in Turkey somehow. So not that the challenges are easier to cope with, they are different. It's a different environment. Labor unions in Mexico and Austria were quite outspoken. Workers' Council, you have different labor challenges here in Saudi Arabia. But I guess now the experience that the team has, the experience or the ideas that I might have from my previous experience will be a good combination of finding the right solution. And it's all about motivating staff. So sometimes now I wonder about all this discussion, labor against management or vice versa. It's not about fighting labor. It's exactly the opposite. So it's to generate a motivated staff. And this is one of the assets I see in SAUDIA, that we have motivated, we have staff that are deeply committed to the company, that they really want to make this company thrive forward. So I'm quite optimistic about this.
Well, just reflecting on that point, I mean, I was reading last night, even as I arrived, I mean, and I'm sure you've been reading too, back in Europe, there's a lot going on with Alitalia this week, and sadly their labour force has largely rejected plans to save the airline, and I guess we're going to find out more about that in the next 48 hours or so. I somewhat cynically say that Alitalia has had a lot of near-death experiences in the past, and then suddenly miraculously survived, but that one seems to be a less happy situation than maybe the positive environment of Saudi that you described. Just touching back on the US market, I mean, Emirates again last week announced they were going to cut capacity from June. They've seen a big impact on the level of bookings, partly the laptop ban, partly the visa question. As you said, you're not as exposed to that market as, say, Emirates is, but it is a big part of your business. Have you seen much of that in your booking trends that you're able to share with us at the moment?
Yeah, it's a difficult question to answer because no, we're watching the booking trends, of course.
Closely.
We are headed into the high season.
Yeah.
So I cannot tell you today that we have a negative booking trend or there's something to worry about. But as you rightly said, SAUDIA is less exposed to this traffic and to these initiatives than the other carriers, mainly because we are third, fourth freedom traffic. These are, there is a huge student community in the United States and North America. Yes, they use laptops, but if we look today at the statistics, the laptops that we take from our passengers at the boarding gate, in peak days, we get up to 15 or 20 laptops that we have a special product, we take special care of them to put them in the cargo holds, but it's not a volume, as you would expect from a Sixth Freedom carrier, like what's happening here in Dubai, that you get all this feed from every part in the world via Dubai to the US. It's a different problem. It's certainly a different story of what we are facing here. So yes, I'm sure that we must have lost some traffic, but it's not something that I can tell you keeps me awake at night. We don't see a negative booking trend, but it's biased again because we're entering the high season as well.
Peak season. Yeah, and let's just see if anybody would like to ask you a question from the audience. Anybody like to ask Jaan? Gentleman on the front, we're just going to bring you a microphone. If you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself as well when you ask your question, please.
Hi, thanks. I'm Frank Kane from Arab News of Jeddah. Just on the IPO prospects, I understand you can't preempt a government decision, but when you took the job, you must have had some kind of target in mind. And my question really is whether you were tasked with making SAUDIA IPO ready. Is public company status the end of your phase at SAUDIA?
No, IPO was never mentioned during my meetings, my interviews. That's a topic that was never mentioned. My task, my engagement in SAUDIA is to bring outside-in experience, to bring, again, some 40-something years in the different areas of aviation, into supporting the company in the transformation process. The key word that we're using is transformation. We are modernizing the company, we're increasing the customer service, but the IPO, this was never a word that was mentioned. Again, this is decisions for the government eventually to take. We are doing our best with the team to prepare the company to whatever strategies the government, the owner, will have in the future.
More questions on the front, if we could just get the microphone back here. Is that two? Would you both like to ask a question? Both questions? Okay.
Hello, this is Layla Al-Mazmi from Emirates Airline. If I understand you correctly, you've talked about the airline's priorities and they're kind of a big ticket, as in building another hub in Riyadh, expanding in Jeddah, and focusing on the product, the work behind the fleet as well. But what about your customer experience? And when I talk about customer experience, it's having that seamless experience, which starts probably from the curbside. So it's the airport experience, onboard experience. So is it part of your transformation, leveraging or capitalizing on the relationship with the authorities, or in particular the airports, having those innovative machines, biometric, open gate? So is there any discussions with the airport authorities on that matters, and is it part of your transformation journeys as well?
Yes, so as a person that fortunately can say has some years now, 40-something years in the industry, something that I have learned is that an airline alone will not survive. An airport alone will not survive. You have seen so many examples where this fighting between the infrastructure and the airline has not served any good purpose. So I'm 100% convinced, and I have done it, and I will do it, and I am doing it also here in Saudi Arabia, is that we need to be very close. I mean, Jeddah, Riyadh, this is our home. And if we don't have a proper home, we will not be able to be successful. And the home carrier is also as needed to the home, to the airport, as the airport is needed for the airline. So my priority in the meetings I've had with GACA, with authority in Saudi Arabia, meetings with government officials, with airport officials, have been from day one throughout these 3 months, and will continue being that. We have a huge opportunity, as I said, a one-time opportunity in the new terminal in Jeddah, We're working hand in hand very closely with the airport, with a new operator, whoever is being chosen by the authorities to run the airport. But this is the name of the game. Yeah, you have to go hand in hand. We had some experience in the alliance work when we even were able to design some terminals together with the airport operator to suit the customers, to suit the alliance customers. Yeah, if you see the new terminal, the Queen's Terminal in London as an example. Yeah? So even the airports have come to the belief, yeah, to the firm conviction that if you do this hand in hand with the airlines, and not only a single airline or the home carrier, but also with the alliance environment, yeah, you will benefit as an airport. Yeah? So yes, that's definitely the name of the game. Yeah? It is a priority. It is really a purpose that will serve the airport, that will serve the airline, and at the end, it will serve the community, will serve the customers. Yeah? So yes, exactly one of these examples in Jeddah, this is where we're taking big opportunity of.
Anyone for one last quick question? If you could just give me your question with the gentleman at the back, and if you give me yours, I'll get them both at the same time. I'll get whichever you're closest to, Lucy, with a mic. Gentleman over here. If you can make it as concise as possible, and then I'll get your question if you can answer both.
No problem, I'll make it very concise. Neil Faulkner from Citroën Air. We've heard several CEOs be very vocal on the laptop ban. What are your particular thoughts on the laptop ban?
Great, let's just get the mic to the other gentleman here.
Hi, Ahmed Al Junabi, Etihad Airways. Congratulations on your new endeavor. You're obviously doing an exceptional job. Quick question about the newly introduced regulation in Saudi Arabia regarding consumer protection. I would just like to hear your opinion on that.
Okay, so anything else you want to add on laptop ban and then consumer protection within Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, so laptop ban, of course it was a surprise. We are fully compliant with the regulations. We are affected on our flights to the United States. We're affected on the flights to Heathrow. We have a good answer. The feedback we have received from passengers so far is good, yeah, that we are taking care of the laptops. We offer a good product. Yeah, we really make sure, yeah, that we deliver these laptops on the point of arrival. So it's not nice. Yeah, it was a surprise. But if these are the security measures, if this is what is imposed by the authorities, we play the game. And as I said, Saudia is exposed, yes, to some of the key markets that we operate in, but we are not as exposed, and so far it is not harming the business the way it is. We are supporting the passengers on the IFE, we're supporting the passengers on whatever other means of entertainment, but as a frequent traveler, there is no substitute, yeah, to having your own device, to having your laptop. People are adapting to that, but yes, at the end, the authorities will need to understand and will need to confirm if this is a way to go forward. Yeah? If this is meaningful, if on the other side, now the threat of having a series of batteries in the cargo hold, if this is posing a safety threat on the other side, I mean, it's not confirmed, it's only speculation, but it is up to the authorities, and I'm sure that the authorities will make the right decision. So we will cope with that as we are doing today.
Consumer protection regulation in Saudi Arabia?
Yes, consumer protection, it's an important topic. Yes, there is a new regulation in Saudi Arabia. We discussed this with the government. We will be fully compliant with it, of course. Yeah? But consumer protection, if you, if you look at the reason, why is there a new legislation, or why is there tighter or less tight consumer legislation regulations? It's all about the performance that we as carriers have. Yeah? So we must have done something wrong in the past, yeah, for the governments, for the authorities to impose this kind of regulation. Yeah? So our priority, my priority in the company with the team, is to make sure that we never have to use this customer protection. Yeah? That we are as good enough, yeah, for the customer to be happy, to file as few complaints as possible, yeah? That we have an on-time performance, that we don't have overbookings, that we are as good on the day-to-day performance in order to avoid customers from making use, from having to make use of this, and to avoid, of course, on the in return, a huge cost element to the company. But yes, this is regulation, new regulation also for Saudi Arabia, which is nothing really different to what's happening in other parts of the world, in Europe, in the United States. It's part of the worldwide trend, yeah, to protect the customers. But we do not want to go into the area of our customers being protected by legislation. We want to be a step ahead to avoid exactly that from happening.
Jaan, I'm afraid we're out of time, but I really appreciate that you came along today, especially so new into your role, only 3 months in, and give us a great broad view of where Saudi is today, where you are going to take it in the coming months and years. We look forward to inviting you back to a future ATM for a progress report. So, ladies and gentlemen, Jaan Albrecht, CEO of SAUDIA. Thank you very much, Jaan.
Thank you, John. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.